listening to the Universal Family,
a podcast about our love for Universal Orlando.
This is episode 2, where we discuss our most recent trip to Universal.
And our experience meeting a Universal legend.
And other Universal news.
Time for this adventure
and this podcast
to begin.
You guys rock.
All right.
Episode 2. Here we are.
Great recording.
I think we're always recording, is what I've kind of learned here.
Tape is free.
This is the Nixon White House of podcasting. It is all recorded. All right. Welcome to episode 2 of the Universal Family. 2. We made it to 2.
We did it.
We survived episode 1.
And this definitely isn't on the same day that we recorded episode 1.
Definitely not.
Episode 1 went well.
Thanks for everyone for listening. I feel that our audience is growing.
I'm sure it is.
Yes. Hopefully you were all enjoying our mindless meandering about Universal Orlando. So we recently got back from a trip. When was that, someone?
We were there a month ago.
So,
well, no, we just left a month ago. But 2 days ago, we would have been there a month ago.
That's very precise.
Thank
we
you.
were there last month.
We went there on April 30th through May 6th.
So we always travel, not always, but often we travel to Universal with our great family friends, the Hennings, who hopefully will be guests on our show at some point. But on this recent trip, we actually took one of our kids' friends with us. Was a first for us. How did you think that went, Dan?
So we took my best friend, Jackson, and it was fun. It was good. I don't know when the next time that he'll come back with us or go with his family is, but I think that he had a really good time. And I think that it was just really fun seeing him react to everything. It was like bringing a baby into the park.
The thing with Jackson is that he literally didn't know anything about any ride, and he didn't watch any videos about anything. So I
thought that was cool that he did that.
I thought it was cool too.
Agree. I'm the kind of guy that hates movie trailers. I mean, you guys all know this.
Yeah, obviously.
I will not watch. Oh,
you were talking about the tribute store in the last episode.
Yeah, I hate having anything spoiled. If I'm in a theater and a movie trailer comes on, I will put my fingers in my ears, my head down.
There's certain things that I don't want spoiled, like if it means a lot to me.
Right.
But things like
that's like the normal
things
person.
like rides don't mean a lot to me. Like if I
what?
No, not like if it's a new ride, maybe I won't watch a video. But
I will because I'm scared of what
I
it
just
will be.
have known the rides. I've been riding them since before I could watch videos.
So it was fun having Jackson with us. It's always fun having someone at the parks that's never been to the parks. I mean, we've been to the parks a lot. I think we actually counted it up before we started this podcast, and we've been in the parks over 80 days total at this point. So
that is crazy. What about me though?
I didn't do your.
We'll do the math
All right,
another
we'll do
time.
That. I've been there over 80 days. Mom maybe 2 days less than that, maybe. And you guys probably know more than 10.
And someday we'll do a podcast episode about Brian and I's first day.
Oh, for sure.
At Islands of Adventure.
I'm excited for that.
100%. Yeah. So stay tuned for that episode. But it's always fun taking people that have never been there before. So it was nice having Jackson there to experience a lot of that. However, one of the best stories of Jackson was the Men in Black riding experience. We always ride Men in Black and Black. And,
let me preface this by saying that I love Jackson with all my heart. He's one of my family, but the dude loses stuff like no other.
It's true. It is 100% true.
It's really insane. It's a skill. I'm not lying. It is really a skill how easy it is for him to lose things.
I felt like I had to step up my game as a mom this time to keep an eye on Jackson and all of his things.
Well, maybe
and for the most part, it went well.
It was like a baby watching him react to the park, but it was also a baby having to take care of him losing things. Well, on a whim, we got on Men in Black, and we got to the end with what's his name? Will Smith. And Jackson realized that he didn't have his phone. And I don't know. I don't even remember
I wasn't
it
on
that
the
much.
ride.
He got off and realized he didn't have it.
No, he didn't.
No, he did.
He was in the car when it's slowly going to unload.
We were still in the waiting to unload, and Jackson, I was behind him in the other car because I didn't ride with load scores, just clarify.
Bro.
Okay.
But Jackson was in front of us, and I heard him saying, I don't know where my phone is. And I said, Jackson, did you bring your phone on? And we always do. I mean, we've rode that ride hundreds
not-
of times.
yeah, it's
Always
not
with
a-
the phone.
It's
roller
You
coaster.
just fold your
I've ridden my
pocket
ride
over your
on-
phone.
I've never had a problem losing
Yeah.
it. I've
And
never
there's,
rented
like-
a locker. Never had a problem
I've
losing
done my
it.
The
phone.
lap
I get
bar
my phone
goes,
out
like,
every
there.
time I get a good score. I get my phone out to
And
take a picture
of it. Exactly. Yeah,
But Jackson finds a way.
He found a way to lose his phone.
So once we realized that his phone really was on the ride somewhere, we went to the people and they were very nice. But they told us there was no way to check for his phone until the end of the night when they could shut the ride down.
And Jackson, of course, in Jackson fashion, didn't know how to log in to find my iPhone and see it. But his mom did.
But his mom was the away team,
Right.
and she
But
was
she
so
was
excited to have a job.
Right. She was not close to us at all, but she was happy to log in and send us screenshots of where the phone was. So we would follow that map that she was sending us, and we could see that it was just past the inside of the store in that like back little cubby hole. It was just past the staff-only doors in there. And I had just noticed earlier that day, another time we rode, that as you're standing there, you can hear the end of the ride happening at that area. So I knew it was lined up at the end of the ride, so we were spinning around, and I thought his phone must be there. So of course we rode again. We always do with the Hennings.
Yeah.
And Dave and I are both, I mean, we're doing our best to score, but we're also looking at the track the whole time thinking, where did he lose his phone? And I'm thinking he had to lose it there at the end. So when we finally get to the end, you know,
It's
we go,
spinning
it's
insanely.
spinning, the bug is in the mouth, you know, we've hit the red button. And I think I see the phone. I think, oh my God, there it is right in the middle of the track. And at that exact same moment, Dave Henning yells out, "There's the phone! There's the phone!" And sure enough, as we spin, right there in the middle of the two tracks is an iPhone laying on the ground in Men in Black.
How didn't it shatter?
I don't
Well,
know.
no car would hit it. I mean, it did fly out. So
I know
that's
it
kinda
had to.
fun.
I don't think he was. Yeah.
He has a pretty good case.
I mean, those cars do have wheels, right? Like, they're not just attached to the track.
I mean, wheels and a track, but I mean, it was way between both of the rides. They got flung out.
Right. But
Salad
it could
spinning
have
style.
landed in a wheel tread,
Oh, it could
but
have.
it did not.
Right. It
It
did
was
not.
not-
It could have been
untouched.
much worse.
it really could have.
So at that point, we were confident based on the mother's report of Find My iPhone and the visual
And
spot.
it can't move.
Right.
Right.
We were confident that we just needed to wait it out, and which we did. Which
Yeah, so we had to go back into the park after it closed, which was kind of hard to get back in, but we got back in and found it at Lost and Found, right where they said it would be. And we actually watched it on the map also moving to we're like, it's on the move. It's going to the front of the park now. So we knew it was going to be up there. And it was there. The screen wasn't even cracked.
Besides the fact that like they can't get it like then, it's very impressive that they can get it that fast. Like they have to walk through and like really search, because like the odds of like, I feel like another person could have lost something on that ride that day, but they also got his phone, and then we went and got it like right after the park closed.
yeah, super helpful staff, really cool. It was great. It worked out perfectly.
And we are
Moving on. Let's talk about some different things about this trip. Some things that are a little bit unique. One different thing about this trip is we have always stayed at the Hard Rock and have always stayed at club level. But on this past trip, we still stayed at the Hard Rock, of course, but we did not stay at club. We stayed at club last year during the pandemic, didn't love it.
Yeah.
Curious what you guys thought this time, how you thought that worked out, staying not at club or at club. Do you think it was worth
Well,
it? What was better?
Let's talk about where we were. That was, I mean,
point.
that's going to be the real decider.
Where were we?
We were right next to the pool, which if you know the layout of the Hard Rock is like even closer than...
We stayed at the Hard Rock as close as you could possibly get to the front entrance of Universal Studios.
Yeah, we were as close to the pool and as close to the path to the park
Right.
as humanly possible. So that considered, curious where you all land on staying up at club. Is that more fun, or staying down low close to the path to the park?
Well, we had trouble with getting our Instacart order, so that was one thing. And like having to order the food, like you're still paying for the food, but then also plan on paying for breakfast. So like you're still spending money on something that like...
It was also like pulling teeth to get any of you guys to eat the food. I was trying to give away
Which
yogurt.
we did.
Yeah, just to clarify, so we decided that
I
if
ate
we
2
weren't
yogurts in one day.
we decided that if we weren't staying at club, so we weren't getting our breakfast and snacks and all of those things, then we should do an Instacart order, which we did, and we had a room full of snacks and such, which was still way cheaper than a club room. So it just comes back again to convenience over luxury. I mean, I'm curious where you land.
I think that after a while of staying hopefully close to where we were, I think that I'll prefer the other place. Just because I think that the only thing about Club really is nostalgia. Because, I mean, Universal is my favorite place in the world, and every single place, or every single time that we've gone there, you know, we've stayed at a club.
Do you
To
remember?
clarify, the club room is like a place where you can get. They have breakfast, snack,
Booze.
booze, yeah, drinks,
From
like
five-
everything you
5
can
to
think
7
of.
every
Like
day?
it's like a little restaurant, and
Milk
they
and
have certain
cookies.
times. Yeah, they have dessert.
Yeah.
Also, I just wanted to talk about the change of Club, like, really fast, just in a specific way that I think of it. But I remember when I was little, like, a big reason I have nostalgia for it was because there was this guy that always was like interacting with us and was like really nice to us, and he really liked me, and like he gave me a toy, I think, or something.
We should
like
look
that.
that guy up and get him on the podcast.
He did that
Oh my
to
god,
me,
that'd be
too.
crazy.
That's a really good point, actually. Something I hadn't thought about
Well,
is that
what
they
I
used
was-
to be a lot more personable. I
Right.
feel.
But what I was gonna say is that on the time before where we did stay at Club, the staff they were assholes. They really were.
Yeah.
They were like checking our ID, like watching us, making
Oh.
sure we were like doing everything. And I get it because of like COVID and stuff, but they were not
Things really changed.
customer friendly.
Really, it's the pre-Harry Potter years were different. The club level was not always sold out. The hotel was not always sold out. But now it's just a whole different ball game.
Well, me personally, I will say, I think I prefer not club, because we always had, and Laura, you can probably relate to this. We always had that pressure of we're in the parks. We really want to get back for the free drinks from 5 to 7, so we would like leave.
And then you lose park time.
Right. So now this like fluidity of we don't need to get back there.
I know for a fact that on our last trip without Club, we spent a lot more times in the parks than we
Yep.
used to.
Yeah.
Because we used to leave the parks at like 7
Right.
at most.
I had never seen the members waving to you
Oh,
before.
me
Oh,
either.
that's
That
so
was
sad.
so cute. I
That's the
actually
best.
love them
Awesome.
so much.
It
for
really
that.
is awesome.
Yeah.
And also, like, being there at night, like, we had just not even been there at night
Oh,
for
yeah.
many years.
Okay, Universal at night is literally so much
It's like
better.
a different
It's not
park.
just about like the outdoor rides even. It's just like I rode MIB at night and Gringotts at night, and for some reason there was this vibe that was so much better that I loved about it. Like I'll never forget it.
And in the hot months, the sun's down, so it's cooler.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah,
relief.
great point. It was the best times to be in the park was at night during that time. So, we talked before we went about comparing the spreadsheet of is it more economically sound to
Yeah,
go to
Mom
club or
should
not?
talk
We
about
haven't
that.
looked at that.
Is it?
So yeah, I do like all of the spreadsheeting before we go. After we go, I don't really go back and look too much at that sheet anymore. But budget-wise, I believe we did a lot better.
This year?
Yeah, I mean, the
Without
Instacart
club?
order was very economical. But I really enjoyed the freedom, not just like not having to leave the park, but also the freedom to eat whatever we wanted. Like we had the budget to eat more in more places and also the time.
So that's a great segue, actually. So I'm going to propose a couple of quick topics of our last trip and things we noticed, different things we liked in our last trip. Let's just talk about a couple of things. So eats. Places we ate on this last trip. We went to Margaritaville one night,
Love it.
which is so funny. Tay and you too, you're a big Margaritaville
I love
fan.
Margaritaville.
Laura and I used to go. I mean, we would never go to City Walk and Universal without going to Margaritaville. Then we dipped off. We got kind of
Yeah.
tired of it. But you guys have
I
really
was-
brought us back.
I could remember when you used to be like that going to Margaritaville, and then I remember when it dipped off and I was like, what happened? I love, like, Margaritaville's awesome, like, why aren't we going? And then I started getting into Jimmy Buffett like 3 years ago, and like I was like, all right, we have to go to Margaritaville.
I just love the vibe. Like the vibe of like a very like peaceful but also not like type area that's like very big with like good food and like
Yeah.
just like the setting is perfect. I just love it. And the balcony
And
that leads off to like
Oh, that
look
was
at everything
awesome.
is so fun.
We had never gone out on that balcony before, and this time we went out there. It was an
How
incredible
crazy.
view. Of,
No one's out there too.
Ever.
Me and Tayan and May and Jackson were out there alone.
Yeah, I would say pro tip, second floor. We always have a large party with us, so we're always up on the second floor. Second floor, Margaritaville, going out to the balcony that overlooks City Walk. It's epic, and no one is ever out there.
It looks like you're not alled to go out there,
But you
honestly.
are.
Yeah,
but
when
you
you-
Yeah,
are.
they let you.
When you
'Cause it
approach-
is
You have to
kind
go
of, like,
past the
behind
bar,
counter.
yeah.
Yeah, when you approach the door, you kind of feel like it looks like you're going to go back behind the bar, but you just go through. The door just opens.
So another outing, because we weren't going back to club for dinner, was Toothsome, which is always fun.
Awesome.
It.
Yep. What
Got to
are
make your
thoughts?
reservations early. We
Yeah.
did about 2 months ahead of time.
I will say this: I've found Toothsome to be hit or miss. We've had one really good
Yeah.
experience, one mid experience. This last experience was great. All
Yeah.
the food was good.
The server was
server
amazing.
was really nice.
So good service. She was so good. We were a large party again. We were what?
Eight.
9 people.
9
eight.
people. Oh, yeah, 8.
Eight people. That's not huge, but yeah, 8 people. Great service. We had a reservation, which was always good. The food was all great, except for what was Charlotte's? Her coffee rubbed.
Something
Pork
like
or
that.
something?
Yeah.
Dave loved his mashed potatoes, or maybe not mashed potatoes.
Dave's going to love mashed potatoes no
I don't
matter
know if
where
it
you
was
go.
I jumped to that. There was definitely meatloaf involved that he definitely loved. But everything was great. I loved our last Toothsome experience. Desserts were good. You kids left the dinner table early to
I
go.
didn't.
We did that at like every dinner.
But you guys left early to go ride. What did you ride that night? When you left us behind, we had dessert. You rode what?
Men in Black and Green Gods.
Yeah, we wrote Men in Black, Gringotts. We ran everywhere because it was about to close and we wanted to ride as much. Gringotts was very empty. We walked straight through. It was like a 15-minute wait, which is crazy for Gringotts.
That's
It might have been
insane.
5. Like
There's no way.
I'm serious.
No,
It
that's
was-
not impossible.
Park
I don't even
was-
feel like
it was
it's
probably
on
like
the
8:58, like so
board.
about to close. Also, rewind to the at night thing. Hagrid's at night. You must do it. It was amazing.
We'll touch on the rise soon to come. So as far as eating goes, another.
We had a real sleeper that turned out to be great.
Yeah.
The NBC
Yes.
Sports Cafe.
Oh,
The
yeah.
We have
cafe.
never been at all, which
And
is
even
so
this
funny.
time I was like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to go to NBC restaurant.
So I just had a bad experience, I think, but you guys say it was really good.
The
That's
menu is huge. You surely
Yeah.
can find something you'll
Yeah.
like.
That's what I was gonna say. That's how I feel about Toothsome. The dessert was awesome, but with Zine, I just think I picked something wrong. It wasn't that amazing.
That definitely happens.
But I was gonna say NBC. I think it might have been my favorite dinner that we had.
It was a good one. I love that it's so close to our hotel.
Uh-huh.
I mean, my gosh, you can walk from NBC back to the Hard Rock in
5
3
minutes.
Yeah, it's so fast. The foosball tables are cool.
That was awesome.
the pretzel
Now,
we had at the beginning.
I have to
was
say,
awesome.
I did not enjoy the walk to the bathroom.
Oh,
I had to go all the way
my
around.
God.
And you can't go up those wrong stairs. They will turn you right around.
the wrong stairs literally land in the kitchen. It's crazy. I don't understand that layout whatsoever. Oh, but do you remember we went there before it was NBC? It was the NASCAR Cafe. Were you guys aware of that?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, one of the worst dining experiences ever in our
Really?
Universal. Oh my gosh.
What happened?
We went there once for Sissy's birthday. We thought it'd be fun to go to the NASCAR Cafe as part of our faux tour, as in things that we were interested in that we are completely not interested in. And we went to the faux tour NASCAR Cafe for the birthday. We waited forever for drinks, finally got drinks. I remember ordering a whiskey drink, and for some reason, they used spiced rum in the drink instead of whiskey. I don't understand how that ever happened.
I think they might have saw us coming
I
in
don't
our
know.
faux tour
It was pretty bad. We literally had our drinks.
using their restaurant.
At the time, they had Polaroid pictures in the restaurant. They'd come by, take a Polaroid, and then charge you for them. I remember doing that, and we had our drinks.
What?
Yeah, it was so cheesy.
Wait, there wasn't a choice?
No, there was a choice.
Oh, I thought you literally meant they were like, we're taking your picture now.
Like
and then,
Times Square
made you
Elmo
pay.
style? No,
Yeah.
right, no. It wasn't like that. But they took the picture. We did buy it, though, because, again, faux tour birthday.
You have it?
I'm sure.
It's probably in a photo book.
Yeah, Sissy probably
somewhere.
has
Yeah,
it.
maybe.
See it.
So we had been in that building before, but my gosh, NBC, way better than that experience, and we will definitely be going back. That'll be on our regular dinner
I think
routine,
so.
I think.
I think we can switch and swap between Toothsome and that.
We
That's
have
how I
to go
would
to Cowfish
personally.
again at some point.
Maybe.
I really liked
I
it.
really liked it. I think you just ordered something wrong or something,
Okay.
Dad.
All right. I mean, it's one of
It's
those things.
Jen
I
Tracker's
might-
favorite
I
restaurant.
might be persuaded to give it another chance, but nobody at the table can order that hamburger sushi.
Ugh.
Ugh, that was really disgusting.
Bergushi or whatever.
That was a
No.
one-time thing, and
It
I
might
don't
happen
want to
ever again.
experience
Hamburgushi?
it.
I feel that actually we will go back to Cowfish. I remember loving all the appetizers we had at Cowfish and no one liking any of their entrees. So I feel it's a beautiful restaurant.
It's so fun. The fish thing at the bottom. I forget exactly what it was, but you like drew a fish and then it would like go in
Yeah,
the
oh
tank.
yeah, in the tank. All right, one other little eats thing that I want to hit on from our last trip is the as we were in Universal, we were over hanging out next to Bruce. We love to get a little table there, have some drinks while the kids are out riding, and we went over and got some Nashville hot macaroni and cheese. It was hot, like no joke, hot.
Yeah, it was delicious. And I don't eat much mac, so mostly was just the hot and chicken for me, and it was very hot and wonderful.
But was anyone surprised that it was legit hot? I mean, you often order.
Dude, yes.
The thing is, I would have been, but I watched a Tim Tracker video where he did say it was very hot for a theme park.
Good segue,
Yeah,
Zane.
I was gonna say.
So let's talk about the tracker.
So in 2018, when we were going in 2018, we had 3 trips. And I remember I would watch I would try to find videos for the Tim Tracker, and I mean just Universal videos, and I found this guy named the Tim Tracker, and I've loved him ever since. I've watched like all of his Universal videos, so I've been a big fan.
On this past trip, every time we go to Universal, we say, "Oh, maybe this will be the time that we get to meet Tim
And every
Tracker."
time we go, he happens to upload like the next couple
close,
days, meaning he
right.
was there while we were there. We just didn't see him or something.
On this one particular morning, our children decided to leave us ahead of time. We stayed behind.
Keep in mind, me and May, one of the Hennings, were going to go to the pool, but it was a bad day. After we had got out there, we had our trunks on and everything, and we were like, it's bad. We should just go to the park, because Tayan and Jackson were gonna. Just keep that in mind.
So the kids all went to go ride some rides, but the adults kind of went in later in the morning. The kids were in the back of the park. We did some shopping at the front of the store.
We were by Simpsons. We were in the quick.
I just got a donut from Simpsons for breakfast.
Laura and I, as we were there that morning, said, wouldn't it be cool if we met Tim Tracker this time? Which is something we
were
always
just sitting
say.
there on that stoop right outside of the Universal store while Charlotte and Dave were shopping. And I was like, what if we... Because everybody was just pouring into the park. It was like 9:30 or whatever. It was that time that everybody comes in.
I was still in the Universal store there in the front of the park. Laura, you were over
I
next
had
to
moved
Hello
over
Kitty.
to sit in front of like Hello Kitty because it was a little quieter over there.
So I'm coming out of the store. I look to my right, just looking at the traffic coming in, and I see a gentleman with a camera filming, and I'm like, that's Tim Tracker, right? And I did a legit triple take. I don't know if I've ever done a triple take ever in my life, and you can see it on that episode. You know what? I will post a link to that episode on our website, ufpodcast.com. Go there. I'll post a link to Tim Tracker's video. And you can see I come out of the store. I look in his direction. I did a triple take. And then I yell at the top of my lungs, Laura! Laura! And I flag her my direction.
At which point he probably starts to freak out inside of his head.
He's
So
thinking,
at the Quickie Mart, across the whole park, I got a buzz from my Apple Watch, and I looked down, and there's a picture of my parents and my, idol.
Zane told me...
I was so angry.
Zane told me that you guys met Tim Tracker, and I think for a full minute, I literally thought he was joking. And I checked the group chat myself and saw the picture,
But
and
it
I
was
like,
I saw it really
"Oh my
tiny, and I could
God."
recognize him from any size. And
We ran all the way from Simpsons with no stops, all the way from Simpsons
ran.
to the entrance of...
It was,
where was it?
It was like where you meet
Monsters
Shrek
Cafe, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
on the corner there.
Right there.
So we finally saw
insane.
him, and I literally, my heart dropped. I was like, this is insane. I didn't expect to, see him on this trip.
Zane handled it really well. If I was alone, I would, be a mess. Not, crying, but,
So what I
nervous.
think is Mr. Tracker handled it very well. Because
Yeah,
what
he
I
did
have
too.
never thought about when I've watched his videos is he gets stopped constantly.
No, the thing is, he cuts them all out
Well, of
and
course he
doesn't
does,
even
but-
mention it. Sometimes he'll be like, "Hi," as if someone says it, but he can't cut it out.
But he was
I've
so
never thought
nice.
about it. He was
Yeah.
very
He
nice.
stopped and talked. Even if it was
You can-
20 seconds
yeah.
after somebody else, he would stop right again
I
and
showed
talk
him
again.
we had a group chat called the Coop Trackers, and our profile picture was the same as his profile picture on YouTube, and I showed him that. But yeah, it was
Oh,
Super
he
nice
saw
guy.
that? You showed him? That's cool.
He was very tall.
yeah,
Much
oh
taller
my
than I
God, he
thought.
was a giant.
And his voice is just as soothing in real life.
It really is.
We
Tim-
love you, Tim.
Tim Tracker is the dream guest for this podcast.
oh, all right. Let's try that.
He is the dream
Oh,
guest.
of course.
The
On it.
golden goose.
We're
I mean,
with it,
Steven
we're-
Spielberg. That's obviously that's past a dream.
Wow, you have big
You
dreams.
really do have big dreams.
I
kid.
love that.
I love
But
that.
Tim Tracker is
An obtainable dream.
yeah, it's
Not-
obtainable.
Is it doable?
Definitely.
It's a big dream.
It's obtainable. Even just for a second, just to talk to him about something like over Zoom.
Kidnap Jen, maybe?
No, maybe.
Does he do cameos? We might be able to get him that
Ooh.
way.
We are just kidding. We aren't kidnapping anybody, especially the Gen Trekker.
Thank you.
Never,
All right.
ever,
Ever.
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 And we are
Moving on.
All right, let's talk about our last trip shows. We did some shows this time. We've really slowed down in our old age, and you
On
guys
the
getting
day
older.
that we met the Tim Trekker, right after we did, we tried riding Rip Ride Rocket, but it didn't work because it was like broken down and it was too long. So we were on our way back to like where our parents were watching like some show or something. And there was this very, like, it was bad. I did not like it. It
The
was like
80s?
this hip-hop group
yeah,
that
it
was
was
like
the
Oh, yeah, that
Sing
was
It
nice.
or
singing
something.
these like newer
That was
songs. It was
awful.
not a
good.
fan. Not a fan at all.
You can tell
It was
like
on
a
the
test.
same street as the Blues Brothers.
It
was
Which
like
is-
show choir.
It was a test to see if Blues Brothers or It gets more of a
Oh,
crowd.
please.
Oh.
And I think that's why they put it there.
Oh
'Cause-
my gosh.
Let's
The
talk
Blues
about
Brothers crowd fills that street.
yeah, I know.
These filled the sidewalks.
Blues Brothers is awesome.
So we watch Blues Brothers again, and we watch
We
it
watch
every
it
time we
every
go.
Nothing
single
against
time.
those hardworking singers and dancers.
No, I'm sure they're super talented.
They were
whatever.
douchey, remember? They were like talking like as they were walking away and like annoying. I remember that.
But Blues-
We're gonna cut that, right?
I don't think so. But Blues Brothers, we watched it again.
Awesome.
Hot take. I mean, it's
It makes me want to cry.
Unbelievable.
never
gets old.
Every
Does.
time.
why is that?
I mean, we have the script memorized, but it makes no difference at all.
it feels magic.
It makes me
still.
so happy that people still love it.
Me too.
I
I
always
know,
find
like,
myself.
you don't have to see the movie to enjoy that.
Nope, not at all.
Yeah, I mean, they're great. But if you have seen the movie, oh my gosh! I mean, I know they're
awesome.
not. I know they're not Jake
Obviously,
and Elroy.
right.
But every
So-
time their car rolls up, little Brian, who remembers watching that show a lot as a kid in their cop car, my gosh! I
Not
get
to
so
mention these
excited.
two kids, who grew up post 2000. They spent a whole pretty much year being obsessed with that movie,
Yeah,
watching it daily.
Tan
Blues-
says it's a movie he's watched
Blues
more than anything.
Brothers is the movie that me and Zine have seen the most. I can guarantee it. It's
That's
either
hilarious.
Airplane or Blues Brothers.
The Illinois Nazis got them.
100%. I'm scared that it's
Jazz.
gonna leave.
I love jazz.
Yeah.
The sax player Jazz.
Yeah, and what's the lady's name? I don't know that I don't think
Aretha
it's said as
Franklin.
much.
Right. Amen. I will say this: eating in Finnegan's this past time, we happened to get seated at a perfect spot. It's at the front of Finnegan's. It's just slightly to the left of the sound booth they use for Blues Brothers. But if you could time it just right to be seating there, you could sit there, have a meal, and watch Blues Brothers right out the window. It's pretty epic.
I don't know. Then you wouldn't be there.
True, I do love being
You'd
there.
be inside
Conga
the
line is
restaurant.
always good.
I remember what I was going to say. I was going to say that we saw 2 new things that they did for the show,
What
right?
was that?
What were
We
they?
saw the song that I think you've heard, but I've never heard before, that Elroy sang, the
Rubber Biscuit?
Yeah.
Rubber biscuit.
I've never heard that. I like that. It was kind of cool. And then the conga, or what's it called?
Yeah, like a conga line.
Yeah, like a conga line. I've never seen that before, and
they do that
apparently they're doing
sometimes.
it every single time now.
Oh, good. I've seen it before. It's pretty great.
I mean,
love
in
it.
the car when they roll up in that car, and then they drive it away. I mean, the whole thing is
awesome.
just epic.
It's
You
such a
couldn't
good
have
idea.
a better entrance than that.
So let's see. On that side, we also Laura and I did. You guys skipped out. You were riding rides. We did the lake show, the cinema extravaganza show. It was great. I mean, it brought a tear to my eye.
I thought you
love
were
it.
going to talk about the drummers. That was the next thing.
Oh, I forgot about the drummers.
Oh,
This
yeah, that's
time we
true.
took a
The
few
Beat
minutes
Yeah.
and stopped and watched the Beat Builders. They were awesome.
They're cool.
So much fun.
Yeah, you got chops. So I should clarify, this family is all drummers. Laura and I drummed all through college. Both of the children, even though we didn't push them at all, came out as drummers, it turns out, and both of them drum in high school. Who knows where that goes?
I pushed them.
I did not.
You physically pushed us.
Yeah, I pushed
True,
you.
true, very true.
And you were born drummers.
So let's see, what other shows? Hogwarts nighttime show. Thoughts, hot takes?
Not worth it. Definitely not.
It is
And-
great at Christmas time.
Yep.
Agree.
It
I was
was
Holiday.
gonna
very
say,
short.
We saw
So-
one before that was probably definitely worth it,
Yep.
but this one
We
was
sat
boring.
there for about 30 minutes, like waiting for it to start, so we got like good seats and stuff.
And then
it
they
was,
moved
like,
us.
It was just the thing about like every house, which was like, I don't know, it was silly.
Stupid.
I agree. I mean, I felt that this show, unlike
It was
the holiday
cool.
show,
It was
cool.
impressive.
It looks cool.
It's really crazy how they can like project that
but
onto a
it's
building.
short.
Yep.
And it is so crowded in that space. For that amount of time to leave that show.
And it's hard to leave. It
So
was
hard
really
to
hard
leave.
to leave.
It was claustrophobic
I do
to
not
leave.
like it.
I think
We
what
had
we
to take like pathways like behind like where the exit for Hagrid's to get out.
And speaking of Hagrid's, what we learned the next night was that is the absolute best time to ride Hagrid's.
Yep.
Which is pretty easy to figure out, I
Definitely.
guess,
I
but
already said that.
very quiet.
So one other show that we did, a horror makeup show.
That was awesome.
Always
so
good. How is it
Except-
still good?
Except for
How is it always good?
Oh yeah, right. But
Well,
let's talk
yes.
about this first, though.
Yeah, let's talk about the good parts before
Yeah,
we
It's
I mean-
so cold in there, so it's
excellent.
awesome refresher. The people that are in there are so funny,
They're
even though
so
they have to
good
follow
at
script.
adapting, like,
Yep.
Yep.
with the people in there each time without knowing them yet. Like
Agreed.
they think of it on the spot. It's really and it's
They had
funny
like
too.
funny
It's not,
jokes
like,
about
bad.
like the little girl that was
Yeah.
in there.
Yeah, they're always good.
She
at
was
just
so
adapting.
invested. It was awesome.
I always get so very excited for that monster robot at the end.
Yeah.
I love the line, like waiting outside, seeing
Oh,
the
yeah,
memorabilia.
it's
Always
awesome.
good.
And I love the movie montage. My goodness, when that starts, I get so proud.
Yeah.
Like I get like it wells up in my chest.
I love
I'm so
it.
proud that I'm at Universal where these monsters were
I'm
made.
not a fan of the new Mummy
Tom
thing,
Cruise
though.
Mummy? Yeah,
that's a little
lame.
cringe.
But the downside, I mean, we love the show, and I will continue to go
Yeah,
all
this
the
has nothing to do with the show at
time.
all.
The downside, though, go ahead, Laura.
or Universal.
The downside of our experience this time was there were COVID coughers behind us.
100%.
The whole time we were terrified, sitting there like, seemingly inches behind our heads were people coughing. And at first I was like, please let this only be the old lady. Maybe she's a smoker, whatever.
But then the little girl
The little
started coughing.
kid started coughing, and
Her
I knew
dad.
that was it.
Yeah.
I was like,
And I
they
looked
have
over-
COVID.
I looked over and I looked over at Laura and I looked over at Charlotte and Dave and we all the adults immediately scooted to
I
as
did-
far to the front of
Yep.
their seat as we
I
could.
literally went like this.
If there
and I
hadn't been
put
live
that-
actors in front of us on the
We
stage,
would've
we
left.
would have got out of there.
100%.
But
we were
we're
right in the front, right in the middle.
they would have made fun of
we're
us.
too hardcore as an audience.
3 days later, we all tested
We
positive
did
for
get
COVID.
COVID.
I'm 100% sure we got
Did Mom
COVID.
I think
test positive?
I guess Mom
I
did.
never
we can
did.
cut this out, but what?
Yeah, I
you
didn't.
never did.
So 3 days later, we definitely tested positive for COVID, all thanks to the horror makeup show.
And we are
Moving on.
All right, so rides, different rides, fun highlights of rides. What do we got on this?
Hagrid's broke down one of the times me, Jackson, Tay, and May were riding it.
Let's talk about the wait.
We were. I know.
Oh,
Oh
that's what
my
you're talking
gosh.
about.
Oh, it broke down
down.
while you were in
Oh no,
line.
it didn't break down. It was raining, but we
Okay.
decided not to leave the line, which was a little weird. And
I mean, we didn't have anything better to do. They were just
Spider-Man was still open, they said,
right.
and we
but
wanted to do that anyway, so we could have done it then, but we didn't. But
we did wait.
it was
3
worth it
hours.
at the end, no matter. I don't know. I don't know what to say if it was worth it or not. I mean, it is very
I just don't
fun,
really care.
and it's a long ride, so like
Yeah.
it's definitely like a very long ride. I think it's
I think
not
it was
short
worth
like you
it.
would expect it to be.
How long did you guys wait in that line as it was closed?
Probably
3 hours.
3 hours.
I think so. 3
What?
hours.
2 to 3
I
hours.
think
No,
No.
2 hours.
No,
2 hours.
I think it was 3 hours.
It was
I
at
mean,
least
oh,
90
yeah.
minutes.
At least 90. We were
No,
behind.
because listen,
no.
listen,
No.
The wait
It was
an
over
hour
2
on its
hours
own, and then
at the least.
we made it through the line very slowly. We probably moved like a couple feet every 10 to 20 minutes,
Yeah.
and that's how we progressively got to the end.
So
and then they were running it again.
that was a pretty stressful time sitting in that line, right?
Yeah,
For
we
Zane.
yeah, well,
Sitting on the floor crying like he always does.
I think May was pretty upset too.
May was like, my parents are fine with it or whatever. I don't even remember.
I mean, the opposite of that was us and the Hennings were sitting behind the magic tree.
drinking, having the best time.
We were having a great time. That's a great little back patio.
So, but just back to the line, I feel like on every trip there are some moments that just feel like bad, you just feel like everything's going wrong right now.
Okay,
But you
here's the
get
thing
through
with
it.
Hagrid's. And the first time we waited, I wasn't that mad about it, but there was a second time where it was a very long wait, but Tayan insisted to ride it. But I thought about the other things we could be doing, It was one of our last days, and I thought, here we are again, spending 2 hours in this line. It's even though it's my favorite ride, but it still sucks that it's such a long line.
At
when,
what
you
part
could
of
be
the
doing
line were you
so
stuck
much.
on?
What?
At what part of the line were you stuck?
Oh, this is the worst
The
part.
second
it's
time?
it's the underground miney looking areas.
Oh yeah.
The most boring
It was
areas. It's
awful.
not even it was something where you could find something new and look at things. It was literally just stone all around us, and it was going up and down and up and down. Like, it was awful.
There's like rat noises
there
that
were
play
like
through
rat
the
and
speakers.
bat and bird noises.
The next time we rode, we all had like PTSD
It doesn't
from
get
the
any
rats.
worse.
You were like in the dungeon catacombs. It's
The only
best.
good thing is that you could sit up on the rail and put your feet on the other end of the cave, so it was kind of comfortable.
How traumatic.
That just goes to show how narrow it is.
Yeah, it's
True.
really
So-
weird.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, I don't know if I would have made it.
All right, so another great experience, Velocicoaster. We've ridden it a couple of trips ago. We were there when it a preview. We rode in a preview time of it, and this time we rode again. But one thing I would like to comment: that line moves so fast.
Yeah, it is really impressive.
It is such an efficient moving line. It's amazing.
I don't know what they did.
I don't either.
I
mean,
don't. I don't
as new
ride.
as it is. My
Right.
gosh.
I don't ride Velocicoaster, but I was just gonna say that the line is like really awesome.
So on Velocicoaster, I mean, it's an incredible ride. I usually take Dramamine about an hour before we get on it just to make sure I'm going to feel all right. But I was just terrified. And this was the second time I rode it, but I was so scared the whole time, which was very exciting. Like it was just amazing. And one of the things I was the most scared of is that I was afraid that Brian was going to get thrown out of the ride. Every time we went around, every time we were upside down, I was like, I'm going to turn around and he won't be there.
It would be
out.
so traumatic.
Oh my gosh. I mean, I love that ride. I'm so tight in that ride. I would much more be worried about little Zine flying out than me. Trust me, I'm not coming out of that ride.
Yeah.
I absolutely love it.
It's such a fun ride. At the end of that specific ride, I was like shook. Like my body, like I didn't know what like just happened to me. And I had ridden it before, but it wasn't like that the first time. I just didn't comprehend it because it was going like too fast.
Tan hasn't rode it yet. Are you
No.
going to ride it with us next time?
I guess.
So I will say this, and this is a segue to another ride fun fact. Tan had never ridden a roller coaster with us, aside from Hagrid's or Hippogriff. But this past trip, he rode the Hulk, which was a big step for Tan.
Tell us all about
Tell
that.
us about it, Tan.
Well,
Tell us about it, Janet.
It's really crazy because it was like an out of body experience. Not even just, I mean, the ride was obviously awesome, but like my brain doesn't remember convincing myself to ride Hulk. It was just like my body was like, I'm going to do it, and my brain just turned off. I don't remember anything. I know we rode Amazing World, or not Amazing World. I know that we rode Spider-Man before I rode Hulk when I was already convinced, and I don't even remember Spider-Man. Like, it was really crazy. So I can't really talk about that. But the ride was awesome. They've been trying to convince me to ride it ever since I was tall enough, which was like
a long time
a
ago.
long time ago, like more than 5 years probably. And yeah, it was awesome. It
My
was
first time
thrilling.
riding it was in 2018. And it was my first like big roller coaster ever. Besides Hippogriff.
So you guys rode that several times this time.
Yeah.
You rode it at night also?
Again,
Night
it's the best
front
at
row,
night.
best.
Yeah,
best.
I do love shooting
You
out
were
the
in
the
tunnel at
front
night.
row?
I will
Yeah,
say
we rode front row on
you
night.
you can wait in a line to ride front row, obviously, and with Express Pass, like the wait times on Hulk are never long. So Express Pass, you just walk in after the metal detectors.
Every time.
So it's honestly, I feel like it's worth waiting for the front row line because
Agree.
it's the feeling like no other riding front row.
Coming out of the tunnel at night and seeing all of islands in front of you lit up.
it's awesome.
It is magic.
It really is.
I have to say, for your first ride, though you may not remember it, in the picture, you look epic.
No, I remember that.
I think you're like doing the
I was doing
double
this.
fingers,
Yeah.
and you're just way ready for the picture.
I remember
Wait,
because I had watched the video POV so many times that I knew exactly where the camera was. And then after you go like under the water, I was just like so awake, and I was like, "This is awesome! This is like the best experience ever." So I was just ready to take the picture.
What did Blue Man Group call that? Floppy the clown?
Floppy the clown.
Floppy the clown?
No, was that what it was?
something like that.
Rest in peace, Blue Man.
Rest in
Group.
peace, Blue Man Group. It was great.
I will say that even though Hulk was awesome, I do think that Hagrid's is a better roller coaster.
Me too. But that's only
No.
because of like the
No.
fact that
I'll say I think Hagrid's
They're different.
might be a
They're
better
different.
ride. I don't think it's a roller. I don't
yeah,
think of
I don't
Hagrid as a
count
roller
Hagrid's
coaster.
as a roller coaster.
Yeah, it is
It's
a roller
so
coaster,
fast.
and
It's a-
I think that
it's
it's
a
a better
high-speed
roller
ride.
coaster.
But next you get to ride Velocicoaster and see what you think of that.
I don't know.
Okay, think about this. Poppy's gonna ride it for the first time, and you're gonna want to ride it for the
Yeah.
first time, and y'all can talk about
You'll
it
love
together.
it. All right, so one other ride note, Hogwarts Express. I love it. I think it's fun. Us and the Hennings in our car, we always get a pack of
Birdie Bots.
You're right. Honestly, Ron, we love.
Honestly, Ron.
Right.
With the fake Hermione.
So my sister-in-law, Laura's sister, Sarah, went just a week after we went. And she has much younger kids. And when they came back and I met her again, I was like, what did you think? Did you love, blah, blah, blah. And we were talking about everything. I was like, well, how about Hogwarts Express? And she said, I hated it. I will never ride it again.
Why?
Why?
This is interesting. I'd never thought about this. She swore it off. She says, I don't even see the point, blah, blah, blah. I was like, why would you hate that ride? It is so great. And she goes, you're packed tight, so in that small room with these strangers. I'm like, oh.
They were with strangers?
Yes.
We are always with a big party.
I'd never thought
We
of
have
that
never
ever.
been in there with people that aren't in our party.
Can you imagine riding that with another party you don't know?
It'd be so awkward.
It would
It'd be like
definitely-
an elevator
Oh, you
ride.
can't-
Yes. It's like being stuck on an elevator. You're not
Oh,
going to
but
talk.
it's for like 10 minutes.
You would feel like such a dork when you got excited about
I
like
know.
the
Oh,
chocolate
that's
frogs
so sad.
We ham it up on that ride a lot. I mean, we impersonate the script of the ride, and we talk about what's going on out the window, and we get excited when the
and share
frogs...
our beans.
Yeah, we share our beans.
Spit
Doing
'em out.
doing that with
gag.
strangers knee to knee, I would not be
That would
comfortable
not
with
be
that
fun.
at all.
Oh.
I'm fine if it's like my friends that I know.
Don't you think there should be a cutoff? Like, don't you think 4 people...
I
Yeah.
think like
Well,
Make the
that would be
line longer.
efficient, though. I think like 6
Yeah,
people.
I get it. I don't know.
But
Six
that
is
would,
too
that's
much.
probably what they rode with.
If I was
though.
a party of 2, I would be expected to be paired with another party of 2. Then you don't have to sit knee to knee. But if I'm a party of 4, just give me my own car.
most times where I'm like stuck with people on rides like that, like I remember on Popeyes, we had some cool people on that with us one time.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's always
Yeah,
fun.
that's not so
Like
close
sometimes they
together.
aren't like, if they were like silent and like boring, I'd be mad.
Popeye actually is a great ride to ride with
Yeah.
strangers.
It's-
Oh,
love
I
seeing
know,
that
because
experience.
they can't like be like
Yeah.
sitting there straight faced the whole time.
Right.
The,
that
right. The
is fun.
difference is that the train is like a literal elevator ride. It's just getting you from one place to another while you're like watching something.
Right.
But on a ride, it's like you're vulnerable and it's
Yeah,
like
on
fun,
Popeye, it's
so
like you
everyone's
get
having
off
a
that
time.
ride and you've had an experience with these people,
Yeah,
or
like
strangers that you're
You
always
bonded
have.
with them.
Yeah,
Y'all were sharing the same experience with getting wet.
So I get Sarah's hesitation to ever ride it
Definitely.
again.
I would
Sometime-
definitely
Yeah.
skip it.
I would not
then.
like it. But
If we are with a party with less than 8 people, we cannot ride that. Like, please.
yeah,
I don't want to do that to
maybe not.
ourselves.
all right, that wraps up episode 2.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it was a fun last trip. Hopefully, we'll be going to another soon. Plenty to touch on in future episodes.
It was
but
worth COVID, 100%.
I don't know about
No,
that.
it was. It was.
Ah,
No, I could.
You're right.
I
All
just
right.
sat
It
at home
was.
for a week.
I said to Jackson the first day, he was like, bro, we're going to get COVID. And I was like, doesn't matter. I mean, we're vaxxed. It'll be fine.
it was. I am very thankful that both we were vaxxed and I had a treatment option.
Yep.
Had a couple of touch and go days there, but you're right. Horror Makeup Show is awesome. It turns out it's worth going.
Thanks for listening to episode 2 of the Universal Family Podcast. Don't forget to add and subscribe to us wherever you get your podcasts. This podcast was recorded at Big River Media. For more information about them, go to bigriver.media. Our show music is by Spencer Elliott. You can hear more from Spencer and purchase his music at spencerelliott.net. You can also contact us by visiting ufpodcast.com.
Go forth, time travelers, and remember, the future is what you make it.